Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your source material, could be articles, reports, research, anything you care about, and together we unpack it.
Yeah, we dig into the details, find the important insights, and really try to cut through the noise for you.
Get you informed quickly, but, thoroughly.
Think of it like a shortcut,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, but one that keeps the important context, the stuff that makes it actually stick. We're here to guide you through what really matters in the sources you bring us.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we're looking at just one source, but it's a detailed one. A Premier League match report.
Right. It covers the very last game of the 2024-25 season, AFC Bournemouth versus Leicester City, May 25th, 2025.
Yeah, and it's pretty comprehensive. It looks at the match itself, obviously,
Yeah.
but it also uses that game to sort of reflect on the whole season for both clubs.
Exactly. Gives context, key moments, stats, the whole picture based on that final day.
So our mission then is to pull this report apart, understand the story of the match, yeah, but also see what it reveals about where each team was at season-wise.
And what the report itself really emphasizes as the key takeaways. Okay, let's dive in.
Right. Let's start with the basics, the scoreline.
Good place to start. It finished AFC Bournemouth 2, Leicester City 0.
2-0. And this was Sunday, May 25th, 2025, down at the Vitality Stadium in Bournemouth.
The report mentions the attendance too, 11,238.
And, crucial context the report highlights, Match Week 38, the absolute final game.
Yeah, and for Leicester, well, their fate was already sealed, wasn't it?
It was. Relegation confirmed the month before, so they were already down, heading to the championship. That definitely colors how you look at this game.
It absolutely does. Now, the goals both came from the same player for Bournemouth.
Antoine Semenyo?
That's him. The report times them pretty late in the game, 74th minute for the first.
And then the second was right near the end, 88th minute. Kind of sealed it.
Definitely. And the report even names the assisters. Ilya Zabarny set up the first one.
And Dean Hyson got the assist for the second goal. Gives you a bit more flavor of how they happened.
So, beyond the score, how did the game actually, play out? The report details some key moments.
It does. It mentions Leicester actually had an early chance. Oliver Skipp.
Yes, a volley inside the area. But the report flags this as their best chance of the whole match.
Which really tells you something, doesn't it? If your best chance comes in the first 10 minutes and goes over the bar.
Yeah, it underlines those attacking struggles the report mentions later. But Bournemouth had early chances too, according to the source.
Right. Evan Olsen and Justin Kluivert both apparently dragged shots wide.
And David Brooks had a volley saved. Tavernier cross, I think.
Yeah, so Bournemouth were, knocking on the door earlier.
Then the breakthrough. 74th minute. Tell us about that first goal sequence.
Okay, so the report describes it starting with a looping cross from Tyler Adams.
Okay.
Then Ilya Zabarny, the defender, he knocked it down, and Semenyo took the shot. Interestingly, the report calls it a scuffed shot.
Huh. Sometimes those are the awkward ones. Found the net anyway.
Exactly. Past Jakub Stolarczyk in the Leicester goal.
Before the second goal, Bournemouth could have had more, right? Jebison.
Yeah, Daniel Jebison. He actually had a goal ruled out earlier. A ball went out of play, apparently.
Okay.
And then later, the report says he had another chance. He blasted wide. So, opportunities there.
And the second goal, the one that really finished it, 88th minute.
The report details this one came from Leicester losing the ball. Boubakary Soumare gave it away.
Oh, dear. Turnover in a bad area.
Seems like it. Dean Hyson again picked it up, set up Semenyo.
And Semenyo fired it home.
Yeah.
2-0. Game over.
Pretty much. The report also just quickly notes a couple of bookings. Luke Thomas for Leicester early on, 16th minute.
And Connor Cody, his teammate, got one later in the first half, 38th minute. Standard stuff.
But what's really telling is the report's analysis of Leicester's overall performance in this specific match.
Yeah. What did it say?
It's quite direct. It says they struggled to create clear-cut opportunities, and even more pointedly, never looked like scoring.
Wow. That's pretty damning for a final day game, even with relegation confirmed.
And the stats in the report completely back that assessment up. Get this. Leicester had only 3 shots in the entire game.
3. That's incredibly low.
And none of them were on target. 0 shots on target.
Oof. Okay, that paints a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The report also mentions that skip goal that was ruled out in the first half.
Right, the offside one.
Yeah, Luke Thomas offside in the build-up. So just another moment of frustration for them, really.
So the report uses this match, this 2-0 win for Bournemouth, as a jumping-off point to talk about their season, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It frames the victory as rounding out a hugely positive campaign for them.
And you can see why when you look at the figures the report pulls out. Finished 9th in the league.
56 points, which for Bournemouth is significant.
Very. The report makes a big deal of the club records they set this season in the Premier League.
Right. New records for points, goals scored, and fewest goals conceded. That's quite the trifecta.
Yeah. And it even notes that Semenyo's 2 goals in this game were what actually tipped them over their previous best goals total from 2018-19.
So this specific result had that tangible impact on their record books. Nice detail.
It mentions the manager, Andoni Iraola, suggests maybe a tiny bit of disappointment about not quite getting into Europe.
But the overwhelming message from the report is that there was plenty to celebrate.
Definitely. And they weren't far off 8th place either, which would have been another club record. Only 5 points behind Brighton, the report says.
Shows the progress they made under Iraola this season?
There's also that interesting player note about Dean Huijsen, the guy who got the 2nd assist.
Yeah, the report flags this was his last game. He's off to Real Madrid.
Which is incredible considering he only joined Bournemouth before this season started.
One season clearly made an impact, and now off to Real Madrid. Wow.
And the report kind of finishes the Bournemouth section by saying Iraola will be hoping Huijsen is the only big star heading for the exit door.
Right. As they aim to further surge up the Premier League next season. Clear ambition there, but also the challenge of holding on to talent.
Okay, so let's flip it. Leicester City. The report obviously frames their end to the season very differently.
Yeah, the context is unavoidable, isn't it? Relegation confirmed the previous month. This loss just kind of compounded that disappointment.
Although the report does find a small positive. It notes their form actually picked up a bit after the relegation was confirmed.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, it says they got more points in their last 5 games than they had in the 19 games before that.
Huh. Okay, a late mini rally then.
Kind of. Included home wins against the other relegated teams, Southampton and Ipswich.
Okay. Beating the teams around you.
The report says those wins provided some muted optimism for the fans.
Muted optimism. Feels about right in the circumstance.
And Jamie Vardy scored in those games, apparently hitting his 200th goal for the club. Big milestone.
Huge milestone for Vardy. But the report says he didn't play in this Bournemouth game?
Correct. It specifically notes he opted to sit out of this one. He'd played his 500th game the week before.
Interesting choice. And given what the report said about their attack in this game, his absence feels significant.
Very. And speaking of that attack, the report doesn't mince words about Leicester in this final match.
What was the final verdict?
It says their attacking weakness was clear for all to see in this drab defeat.
Drab defeat. Okay. And reinforces that stat again.
Yep. 0 shots on target from 3 attempts. The report's conclusion on Leicester's situation is pretty stark.
I don't want it.
It says they have a desperate need to improve at both ends of the pitch if they want to get back to the Premier League straight away.
Doesn't pull any punches, does it? A desperate need. That's strong language.
It really is. Sets up their challenge for the championship pretty clearly.
Now, aside from the main stories of the match and the seasons, did the report offer any other sort of interesting nuggets?
A few, yeah. It flags some individual stats for Bournemouth, Semenyo, and Kluivert being key for goals and assists, and Tyler Adams ranking high in tackles.
Yeah.
Which kind of fits with Iraola's pressing style, you know?
Makes sense. Anything else?
The head-to-head record between the two clubs was included.
Oh, yeah. What did that show?
Well, it showed Bournemouth have had the upper hand recently. This win made it 4 Premier League wins in a row against Leicester.
4 in a row. Wow.
Yeah. Overall, across 14 meetings covered by the report, Bournemouth have won 6, Leicester 3, and 5 draws. So even historically, Bournemouth edge it slightly. Adds a bit more context to this result.
Okay, so stepping back, looking at everything this report covers.
Yeah.
What's the big picture? What really stands out?
For me, it's just that stark contrast the report paints using this one game.
Yeah, like a snapshot of 2 totally different trajectories at that exact moment.
Exactly. Bournemouth ending on a high, breaking records, looking forward with ambition, even with Huijsen leaving.
While Leicester. Well, the report shows them struggling badly in this game, highlighting the attacking issues that plagued their season and led to relegation. 0 shots on target kind of says it all.
It really does. Semenyo's finishing, even if one was scuffed, versus Leicester's complete lack of threat. It's all there in the report's details.
And that Huijsen detail is fascinating too. Shows the level Bournemouth reached, attracting a player Real Madrid wants, but also the challenge of replacing that quality.
Mm-hmm. So, based on everything this report lays out, the match events, the analysis, the season summaries, here's maybe something for you to chew on.
Okay.
The report really highlights this performance gap in the final game. Bournemouth looking strong, Leicester looking weak. What does that specific gap and the reasons the report gives for it, like Leicester's attack or Bournemouth's record stats, suggest about the immediate challenges for next season?
Right. For Bournemouth, how do they take that record-breaking season and actually push higher, maybe deal with losing key players?
And for Leicester, facing that desperate need to improve at both ends, as the report says, what's the absolute #1 priority highlighted by this final game performance if they want that immediate bounce back the report mentions?
Fascinating questions arising just from this one match report. Thanks for digging into it with us.